what's up? I'm Erick Bech, and this is my lovely wife, Yesenia. And we've been married for just over a year, actually. And the way we keep our marriage successful, I think that first of all, being a good match really helps. So we have similar values. We're both Christian. We both have similar. Well, actually, when we first met, we didn't have the same political views.
No.
Well, I guess that doesn't matter. But she shifted to the right side. Anyway, but the way we keep our marriage successful, I think, is that we are a good match. We're very compatible, and we also respect each other a lot. I always feel like Yesenia brings out the best in me, and so I used to tend to get kind of angry a lot, not all the time, but she really helps to keep my temper down. I feel calm around her, and so and she's also very kind of a happy person, and she's so sweet that I can't really get mad at her. So it helps to sort of check me. It checks me, and she's also very respectful towards me, and she's very sweet towards me, and I don't think either one of us holds on to resentment or anger for very long, and I think it has to do with the fact that we just kind of bring out the best in each other. We're good to each other, and I think that's what makes us successful.
Hi, my name is Yesenia and I'm Erick's wife. And I think what makes us successful in my point of view is that we kind of balance each other out. He's more of an extrovert and I'm more of an introvert. So I think there's a good balance there. I think if we're both extrovert, it'll probably clash a little bit on the energy side. So I think our personalities kind of give a good balance, but also we have similar points of interest. We like, the studio. We like, being nerds with a camera and just creating video content. That's something that we both like to do. We share similar interests. We're nerds. We're definitely nerds. So that really brings us closer together, of course, too.
Okay, the way we met actually was through a dating app called OkCupid. And Yesenia had not been on my radar on this app. I had been on this app for a few years. And Yesenia got onto it. She had been on it for like 2 weeks. But what made the difference was that she answered all these questions on that app, like 300 questions. I had answered like 100. And so the app found that we were compatible, and then she showed up on my radar, so to speak. I hadn't seen her before. It shows you people that it thinks you might match with, and she had never been on there, and then she showed up, and I saw her picture, and I literally thought to myself, okay, I thought, now that's the kind of woman I want to date. And so I saw her, and because I have experience on this app, I knew I had to contact her or connect with her quickly before anybody else, stole her away, so to speak. So I sent her a message, and then to my surprise, she replied back to my message. And so we started going a little bit back and forth that first day that I saw her, and I knew I had to get her off of the platform so that I could build more rapport with her. And so I asked her for her number and if we could just text each other instead. And she gave me her number, and I texted her, and then from there I set up a coffee date, and we set up a coffee date I think a week after that, and I didn't want it to be a long first date or anything like that. It's just a a kind of get to know each other type of meeting type of thing. So we set up something for after work. We met for coffee, and we met at a little bakery called Carrara Pastries. And should I tell them the story about our first meeting?
Well, he asked.
It's kind of funny.
It's okay.
Yeah, so Yesenia, it was like a Wednesday, I think it was. We were supposed to meet at this pastry shop. So they had this little bench outside, and I sat there. And I try to be punctual. And Yesenia is not such a punctual person. But she had messaged me that she was running a little behind. And that was fine. And I was waiting there. And I was waiting. And I was waiting. And while I was waiting there, I noticed there's this silver car that like had passed by this way, and then she texted me, "Oh, I missed the spot. I can't find it." I'm like, "Okay, what street are you on?" And she told me the street. Okay, you passed it, and then I see another car go this way, and then she's like, "I can't find it." Okay, you went too far. Go back, and like she just missed the place like 4 or 5 times, and then. I gave her the address and everything. She just wasn't that good at finding this, and it wasn't that hard to find or anything like that. But
Moorparks is not an easy city to navigate.
She ended up parking in the shopping little area next to where I was, and I just see this lovely woman just kind of coming through the bushes, trying to get to this shopping center area where I was, and it was her, and she was just nice, and everything, and I just thought it was kind of funny, and I knew it was her. She was coming towards me, and she was kind of embarrassed, and I just thought it was cute and funny, and when she came up to me. Just her presence, like it really made me feel calm. She just something about her that I just felt relaxed around. I just felt I could be myself, and there literally was like an energy about her that just made me feel calm. And I stood up and introduced myself, and I kind of laughed, and she was a little embarrassed, but we both kind of laughed about it. And I was like telling her, "Oh, you finally found me, like this is great." But so much time had passed by that like now I was a little bit hungry. And there was a sushi restaurant next to the pastry place. So I asked her, "You wanna like maybe get some dinner instead of just coffee?" And she said, "Yeah." And so we went in, and we sat down, and we had a little bit of sushi and tea, and we really hit it off. And it was supposed to, for me, I was just wanted to do like a little 30-minute, 45-minute little thing, but it actually went longer, and it just kind of happened organically, and we just really liked each other, and we felt relaxed around each other.
Yeah, I also appreciated that our first date didn't involve any alcohol, so it was just, I just barely met this person, so I'm not gonna just didn't feel the vibe if drinking alcohol. So the fact that I felt like he was more of a gentleman asking me for coffee instead of, "Hey, let's go out to a bar," like, no, that's not the kind of person I would want to be with.
And I had enough dating experience that I knew not to take somebody that you just met to lower their inhibitions, and that kind of thing, because I was looking for love. I didn't have a problem finding a date. The problem I was having was finding love, and so that's really what I was after, is that I was 40 years old at the time, so I had already been dating quite a bit, and the problem is that I wasn't finding the right match, the right person that I felt to settle down with. So that was my priority. So I just wanted her to feel relaxed too, and so tea, coffee, whatever, that was kind of the thing. How long was I dating before we got married? I think it was 6 years that we were dating, and the only reason it went that long before we got married was not because we didn't want to get married. We wanted to get married earlier. In fact, when we first met, we totally hit it off, and within literally like not even 2 weeks, we felt like we were in love with each other. And we were kind of thinking, this is kind of crazy that we only know each other for a couple of weeks and we already feel like this way about each other. And I think we were also mature enough to say, okay, let's just, let's not get ahead of ourselves, and let's try to, see how long this goes before we start.
Let's not scare our families.
Yeah. Exactly. And we've been together for almost 8 years, and we still feel the same way. We still feel the same way about each other, and so it was true love. And it wasn't until like, I think 3 months in that we finally we're telling our families we love each other and that kind of stuff. But we felt compatible. We felt like we wanted to marry each other. But what was holding us back was financially. It was very expensive to get married. I don't know if you know nowadays, but yeah, it's really pricey to have a wedding. It's really expensive. Turns out it's a huge business. I should know, I'm a photographer, so wedding photographers, they make a lot of money shooting weddings. But that was the thing, we and she's Mexican, and she has a huge family. I mean, like a huge family. And I'm Hispanic too. My family comes from Guatemala, but we don't have as big of a family as her family. She's got a huge family. And so they, of course, we want to invite everybody. And we just started doing the numbers, and it was like, wow, it's $1 trillion to do a wedding. It's so expensive. But we really tried to find, a venue, and it just was still so pricey, and logistically it just was kind of difficult to make this happen. And we just, time kept going on, and of course life is happening, and COVID happened, 2020 happened, finances up and down, and this kind of stuff. But eventually we just decided to elope. And so we said, let's just get married. We went to the courthouse and invited my mom and my cousin, and we got married at the courthouse, and now we're married.
Yeah.
And we still want to get the big ceremony, of course. And I think now in our lives we're getting financially more stable and everything like that, so it's probably going to happen. But at least now we're married, so I could say we're married.
Yeah. So I think for me as well, I'm really happy to be with him. Like I said, it's definitely, we're the yin and the yang, and being married. I think coming from 2016, we've been together since 2016. It's going to be what now, 9 years? It doesn't feel like 9 years. It feels more like, we've been together for 2 years, just because we have a great dynamic together. When we, the day that we got married, went to San Diego, had a little mini honeymoon. It's just a couple days, and then the train, and now ever since he opened this studio, it's we spend a lot of time here. We genuinely enjoy coming here. It's not work for us. It's actually something that we spend time together. Because I think as a couple, if he's doing something that he's passionate about, and I'm not passionate about that, but something else, I think the key is to be passionate about the same thing. That's why couples always have to find another person. Somebody has to find another person that is basically have a similar interest, and there's a reason for that. And I think for us, because we have similar interests, and sometimes when he has a bad day at work or just wants to share it with me, he gets technical. I'll understand what he's talking about, and sometimes I'll give him my feedback, or vice versa with him. So
Yeah, I love that part.
yeah. So, adding my kids, to this dynamic, with our marriage, I thought it was going to be challenging. When we got together, my kids were teenagers. My daughter was 16. My son was 17 years old. He had just graduated high school. And I thought it was going to be a challenge, but no, they welcomed him. My daughter was a little skeptical because of, maybe it's like, oh, too soon or something. But no, they really do embrace him a lot. My daughter lives with us, so she's with us throughout. She spent a lot of time with him as well, assisting him with his, photography shoots sometimes, and she actually knows how to assemble the camera equipment more than me. And she's, he taught her well. And my son's a car guy, so he's a car guy. So again, similar interests. Actually last week, his car broke down and they spent all Sunday just fixing on his car. I don't know the technicalities of it, but I know they did, and they were able to fix it together, and they have a great relationship. So honestly, the kids have always been welcoming to him. And I know later this year we'll be going to Japan, so it's going to be the 4 of us. And my son really appreciates his company as well, so he got us both tickets to Japan. Not just me, him as well, because he knows that he comes with the package.
So when I met Yesenia, I was already 40 years old, and at that age. And she's 5 years younger than I am. And in that age group, most people already have kids. Most women already have a couple of kids or 1 or 2 kids at that age. And if they don't, it might even be a red flag if they don't. So I wasn't surprised, and I was kind of expecting something like that. Now, what I wasn't expecting was that her children were really embraced me. In fact, I expected the opposite. I was expecting them to yell at me like, "You're not my real dad," something like that. "I hate you," And they were not like that at all. They were the complete opposite. And Yesenia is divorced, and though her kids, they love their dad, but the relationship that they had was not working out. And they had seen that. They had grown up seeing a failed marriage that Yesenia was really trying to keep it long. They were married for 20 years. He was not the right match for her from the get-go, and so the relationship was toxic, and the kids had seen that, and so they didn't want their mom and dad to be together anymore. They really wanted the best for their mom. And I consider myself a gentleman, and I think they saw that I was that way, a gentleman, and that I treated her with respect, and they liked that, and they wanted that for her. And I truly was looking for love, and they could see that I was in love with her, and that I treated her very well. And so I think that's the reason why they sort of embraced me too. So they could see their mom was happy. And you can literally see it in photos of her in the past when she was previously married, and then photos of her, with me, and it's like seeing 2 different people. She just was way happier, and her children could see that. And so they loved the fact that this guy was making their mom happy, and her mom was in love, and he was in love with her too. So they embraced me, and I really got lucky because they're really good people. They're very good people. Her son is a lot like her. Her daughter somehow is a lot like me. So we get along really well. I always wanted to have a daughter, and so I felt like part of a dream was coming true too. And so I really get along with Stella a lot, and she's also a creative person, and the good thing, she also listens to me. I'm always looking out for her and trying to empower her. I want her to be a woman that can take care of herself and has knowledge and isn't dependent on a man. And so I've taught her everything I've learned. My grandma taught me a lot of stuff. My grandfather taught me a lot of stuff. So I kind of have like old school values. So my grandma taught me how to cook. My grandpa taught me how to work on cars. Her son is a car guy. I'm a car guy. So I've taught her daughter about cars. I've taught her about maintaining a house. my grandfather used to maintain the house. He redid the roof one time, and he could put up walls. And my grandma was very supportive, and she taught me how to, work in a kitchen. Like how to make food and stuff like that. How to clean. My grandma used to be a maid, so she taught me how to fold towels, how to make the bed right. All these kinds of things. And so I've been able to teach my stepdaughter all these things.
Well,
and
it's interesting. I just realized that we were both raised. Technically, we've been raised by not boomers, but people from the generation preceding that, the greatest generation. Because my aunt and uncle, they raised me, and they're the greatest generation part. So I just realized. I don't know.
Yeah.
I just realized that.
My mom and dad never got married, and so I grew up with my mom, but my mom lived with her parents. And so my grandfather and my grandmother were a huge influence in my life. My grandfather was like a father figure. My dad was still in the picture, but he lived in another country, and so I didn't really get to see my dad that much. But my grandfather was really my father figure. And my mom's a great mom too, but my grandma really has a lot of knowledge too. So anyway, so now I get to sort of transfer all this knowledge over to Stella, and she's open to it, and she's grateful for it too. And it's really cool that I get to hire her to assist me on photo shoots sometimes as well, and we have a really good relationship. And then I have a good relationship with her son as well, because we're both car guys. He's a young guy, and he got a car that from an auction, and he's been fixing it up. It's a Honda, and so he runs into issues and problems, and he's asked me, hey, how do I do this, or what do you think this problem is? And I tell him, oh yeah, that's the alternator, like let's go buy one. And we go get one, and then this is what happened the other day. His car just died for no reason, and it was a loose wire that had broken that connected to the alternator. And so he ended up kind of stranded near where we live. We parked the car in a parking lot, and then we had to replace the alternator. You got to take out the bumper, the headlight, everything else. All this stuff the radio has to come out. But I had the tools and the knowledge, and we did it together, and it was very bonding, and it was very cool to finally get him back on the road, and he's happy, and I had his back the whole time. So it was really cool, and I enjoy it. So the relationship that I have with my wife is a relationship that I have with two other people as well, her children. And since I don't have any kids, it's very nice to have a relationship with her kids that now I consider to be my kids. My stepson, my stepdaughter, but they're my kids. And I always tell Stella, somehow you're my kid. I don't know how you're just like me, like you're my daughter. So, and she appreciates that too, so it's nice.
I think for us, the next phase of our relationship is definitely, I know both of us have a common goal of buying a house. And it's not easy right now, obviously, for the economy. It's not easy, it's not realistic, but we've seen so many people thrive and, do the impossible. So, there's always that. But we also want to keep in mind that we do have older parents that we want to take care of. As I mentioned, I have, my aunt and uncle, my dad, they're all older, and he has his mom. And we also want to keep in mind that our goals have to align with taking care of our parents as well, as they get older as well.
Yeah, what's gonna happen? What now after being married for a year? Our goal obviously is to grow old together, and we want to be able to take care of our parents and our children together, have like a home base. But at the same time, we still want to be able to travel. Yesenia loves traveling, so she's floated the idea before we even buy a house. She said, well, what if we just buy an RV and we live in an RV and we just travel around, which sounds great. But I know how she is. I know she's gonna, after a few months, she'll be like, I wish I had a house, I have a studio, a photo studio, so I feel a little bit more anchored to the studio. But I mean, I'm open to being able to do that. At least, part-time would be kind of cool. With what I do, I don't have to always be in the studio, and with technology today, you could be filming videos for YouTube or doing affiliate marketing, or you could be making income all kinds of different ways if you have a camera. So you don't have to have a studio all the time. So I'm open to that, but ultimately what we want to do is we want to buy a house, a Spanish style house in Santa Barbara, and settle down there and be able to take care of my mom. She's single and she's turning 77, 78, oh my God. And so ideally you'd want to have like, you know, a granny flat and have mom live with us, but not live with us, you know what I mean? I mean, I think it's normal that like that parents are gonna treat their children like their children no matter how old they are. So that's just the normal thing. So ideally we'd love to have a house with a granny flat, and my mom could live out the rest of her days and we could take care of her. We don't want to put our family in a home or anything like that. So that's the dream, that's the idea, and I think that's definitely what we're working for, our finances and our businesses to be more established and be able to afford a $5.3 million home in Santa Barbara. Yeah.
I'll settle with Moore Park. That's fine. As long as it has, you know, living space.
You got to keep the dream alive, you know. It's got to be a goal. So yeah, I mean, dream big, right? If you're gonna dream big, you know. And if you fall short, well, hey, at least it was a big dream, and it's gonna be good if you fall short. So that's how I think. But yeah, we're gonna do it.